coolest things this game does is how they redesign a scrapped enemy. Specifically, this scrapped rock enemy from the Sonic 1 TTS demo and some of Naoto Oshima's old concept art. Instead
What
of
is
it being a
that?
random rock, they made it look like a badnik, and it actually fits the theme, and it would definitely make less sense if it was just Sonic killing a sentient rock. Throughout the levels, you can see a shit ton of these floating, tilting tiles that Sonic can actually jump on, and these would feature in some of Marble Zone's concept arts and even earlier versions of the level. And it would seem like Sonic would be able to even stand on them, and this is exactly what they're used on in this level. And they're used really good here for some really fun level design. Throughout the level, you can find these little walls that can be broken if Sonic spins into them, and I think this is a callback to another piece of concept art where Sonic is seen rolling through a hole and it breaks a wall and gives him access to an alternate path. Then you get towards the end of the level where this little shit taunts Sonic, but he's wearing a police hat, which I want to say is a reference to Sonic Waku Waku Police Patrol, but I'm not really sure. Then he kicks you down and makes you go to the end of the stage. This one zone probably has more callbacks and references than the entirety of Sunrise Gate combined, and we're only in the first act. We get to the second act, and technically the final act, and the whole level is covered in a dark cloud due to an erupting volcano that just went off. It's not a reference to anything, but I just find it really cool since it gives another reason why the whole place is flooded in lava. And since we're talking about cool things, this music, man, I don't know why, but out of any Sonic game I've played, this song just feels like it came straight out of like an early 90s.
I don't know if I'm probably not gonna beat this guy. Jesus. I'm so dead. Yeah.
Fantasy game. It just sounds nostalgic to me. Maybe it's the accordion sound font or the slower and orchestral feeling to it, but the music feels like you're running through old ruins. Now back to the references. Interestingly, in this stage, there's a callback to Green Hill Zone's rolling physics ball that Sonic can actually jump onto and roll on. Now,
Rolling
it's interesting that they
physics.
put it in Granite Zone and not in the first stage, but listen, I'm not one to judge. And if we keep going, there's this loop that Sonic can go through that has no floor or no, like, I don't even know how to call it. But regardless of that, this loop can be found in some of the early concept arts, which is talking about like the implementation of some features, and this is one of them. And perfectly enough, this leads right to the end of the stage. This act doesn't feature as many references as Act 1, but it still feels like a natural progression of the whole zone. Next up, we have the final boss, which is its own act, kind of like Sonic CD. And I didn't notice this until literally editing this video, but the ship that he's riding in is a reference to the bee costume that he wears in the concept art. So that's a pretty nice reference.
Oh,
Remember those UFOs from earlier? Well, in this boss fight, you have to chase Eggman on top of one of them in this pseudo 3D section. And this part hits you in the face with that Sega Saturn feeling of the game. It really amplifies that because it feels like something that Sonic Team would do to take advantage of the fact that they're on the Saturn. It's an easy boss though. Once you beat it, Sonic flies away and the demo ends. And after playing this game and analyzing the whole game top to bottom, this game is 100% a work of love by people who have a deep appreciation for the series and its past. I really hope this game is complete. So far, we have the concept versions of both Green Hill Zone and Marble Zone completed, and I would love to see what little references that they would put in like a Starlight Zone realization of concept art, taking on a more fantasy style of the concept, or the unused city level. I would love to see a full Sonic 1 reimagining of the concept. But as always, thank you Team Overture for picking up the project again, and thank you Jazz for starting the project. And if anyone from Team Overture like Pixie Pie or Unlimited Trees watches this video, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you guys do end up finishing the game and realizing the original vision of Sonic the Hedgehog. And that is all I gotta say for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below what you guys think about this game. Do you guys like the game? What do you think? Did I miss something? Maybe I missed a reference here or there, but I think I got everything basically that was in the original concept art that's in this game. Man, this game was actually really fun. I go back and play. It's decent length too. It's like a solid playthrough. Again, like I said before, I'm just reiterating what I said. I hope this
I don't know if I'm gonna beat this guy. Just like not very good with her. I should probably go into training with Rosalina. I don't know all these Luma moves. So go Luma uppercut. Alright, what else?
This game does get complete because it has a lot of potential to be something really special. And, you know, as someone who really likes, you know, the old concept art and stuff of that nature, it really is cool to see, you know, that old fantasy style that Sonic could have adapted finally being realized. And this is the type of shit I love, man. This is why, like, no other fan base would do this. Like, fucking no other fan base would go and look at the old concept art of a game and then go make a fan game based on that concept art. Like, Sonic fans are the only motherfuckers to do that shit, bro. And that's my favorite part of the fan base, bro. The creative people.
That is kind of awesome.
Make stuff for the fans that love the series as much as like us, man. That's all I gotta say.
But like, you gotta admit, like the reason why, like Sonic fan games, like the amount of Sonic fan games, I think, are more than any other type of fan. Like, I don't see. There are like a lot of Mario fan games, but like, I think there's just more Sonic fan games than like any other franchise. It's just like the most amount of fan games are Sonic fan. That's what I think. And I think the reason for that is because the games are bad though. Like that's the reason. Like people want a good Sonic game, so they start like trying to make their own.
Subscribe, comment, turn on notifications, and I'll see y'all in.
I don't mean like all of the games are bad, but like recently, like Shadow the Hedgehog, that was really good. But like they've been bad for a while. I thought Sonic Frontiers was like decent. What is this? POV, you fall down the rabbit hole with Blink and Zelda 64. Okay, that's enough of this. Is Maple Story Worlds good? I just tried it and tried one or two games and it was bad.
Hey, I'm Derek. I used to make
I watched
animations
this
using
video.
characters from a game called Maple Story. So I haven't been around in a while, but Nexon's kind of pulling me back with this new.
The Sonic CD theory is insane.
Sonic the Hedgehog, despite being filled with silly and cartoony animal characters, does in fact have a totally super serious and legitimate timeline of events that can be followed from beginning to end. Listen, if Zelda can do it, so can we. Overall, it's pretty straightforward. We start with Sonic 1, and for the most part, despite a few exceptions, it's usually just the release order of each game. However, like I said, there are a few exceptions. One of the exceptional exceptions being Sonic CD. Sonic CD's chronological placement in the official Sonic the Hedgehog timeline used to be a hotly debated point of discussion. Yeah, Sonic CD was the third mainline game released on the Sega CD after Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but that doesn't necessarily mean it takes place after Sonic 2. Actually, the general consensus was that this game took place in between Sonic 1 and 2. And as per 2022's Sonic Origins, this exact placement on the chronological timeline was officially confirmed. This is pretty cool though, we finally got an answer to an age-old question. Time to put this to bed, right? Well, we're dealing with Sonic fans here. No detail or inconsistency goes unnoticed. Yes, despite this, there are still a lot of people that argue that this placement isn't correct. Whether it be the nitty-gritty narrative details or the unique gameplay mechanics, fans have used various pieces of evidence to suggest its true placement on the timeline. So if not between Sonic 1 and 2, where exactly does Sonic CD fit on the timeline? Welcome to Chowmix, and today we're going to be weighing all our options and determining when the heck Sonic CD happens. So we all know Sonic Origins claims that Sonic CD takes place in between Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. This is the canonical placement in the Sonic timeline. And I mean,
this
it makes
UI looks
decent
cool
sense,
for
right?
Sonic Origins.
Sure, the game came out after Sonic 2, but you can almost feel by playing it that it's like the halfway point in between Sonic 1 and 2 in terms of gameplay. It's got the half-baked spin dash, Sonic sprite from the first game, and its level design isn't as streamlined as games from 2 and on. Its placement in between Sonic 1 and 2 makes sense narratively too. Tails isn't in the game at Sonic's side like he is in pretty much every game after 2. Sonic lacks a super form. And it's also kind of before the 7 Chaos Emeralds were solidified as the main reoccurring collectible, since Sonic 1 has 6 emeralds and CD has time stones. In general, Sonic 2 just establishes a lot of consistencies we see throughout the rest of the series, where Sonic CD is still more experimental, like it's still figuring things out, both in terms of overarching narrative and gameplay. There's even this little Easter egg that shows off this image of Tails saying, "See you next game," which a lot of people think implies that it's talking about the next game in the timeline, Sonic 2, the game where Tails makes his debut. I mean, yeah, that would make sense, right? And even back before CD's placement in the timeline was officially confirmed by Sonic Origins, the vast majority of people tended to agree that Sonic CD took place in between 1 and 2. This was the general consensus. But there was always a very vocal minority that insisted that this placement was incorrect, because as it turns out, there's actually evidence that may suggest otherwise. One of the biggest reasons that the Sonic CD truthers believe that its placement in the timeline is incorrect comes from this guy right here, Metal Sonic. You see, even ignoring Metal Sonic, there are quite a handful of Sonic-inspired robots created by Eggman just throughout the classic games alone. You've got Silver Sonic, Mecha Sonic Mark 1, and Mecha Sonic Mark 2. And the thing they all have in common is they all kind of suck compared to Metal Sonic. Okay, kind of brutal, but why is this a problem? Well, because Metal Sonic, if we're going by the canon timeline, would have come first. Metal Sonic is probably one of Eggman's finest creations of all time. He's an ultra high-performing machine capable of matching Sonic's speed and power. So if Eggman was able to whip up something this good right from the start, what's his excuse for all these hunks of junk being significantly worse after already figuring out how to create something as powerful as Metal Sonic? It seems pretty far-fetched that Eggman's first attempt at a Sonic doppelganger was this good, while the rest, which came after, are so trash. There's a pretty big regression
so that's
in
why
Eggman's
he's saying like
Sonic-inspired
Sonic
robots
CD
that
is
just
the
doesn't make any
latest.
sense if we're looking at the canon timeline. This is one of the
I've never heard anyone talk about the
arguments, and it
Sonic
really does point out a
timeline.
glaring flaw in C's placement in the timeline.
But I
doesn't
mean,
it?
Sonic
This isn't
Generations
the
is
only
a thing.
evidence that points to their conclusion. Amy is another point of contention because a lot of fans question why she makes her debut in Sonic CD, the second game chronologically, but isn't included or even referenced at all in Sonic 2 or 3 and Knuckles. Amy is supposed to be an avid fan of Sonic that follows him around wherever he goes, so it's certainly a bit strange that there's zero trace of her afterwards. It's almost as if she doesn't exist. Well, it's not really that she doesn't exist, but more like she hasn't been introduced to Sonic at the time of Sonic 2 or even 3 and Knuckles, so she isn't aware of him and entangled in his story yet. In the established canon timeline, the lack of acknowledging Amy's existence after Sonic CD is a bit jarring. There's no denying that. Another possible plot hole sometimes pointed out is the existence of the spin dash in Sonic CD, because allegedly Sonic learns the spin dash from Tails, who he obviously meets during Sonic 2. And yeah, it does say so right here in the US instruction manual for Sonic 2 that Tails basically invented the spin dash. To take this even further, we can also see that Tails is able to do the spin dash in his spin-off game, Tails Adventure, which does in fact take place before he meets Sonic. It seems that Tails really did invent the spin dash. Wow. Okay. And so this leads us to our next inconsistency. How is Sonic able to perform the spin dash in Sonic CD if this supposedly took place before Sonic 2? Before he learned it from Tails? It just wouldn't make sense for Sonic to have this move at this point, and yet he does. The only way for this to logically make sense is if this game took place after Sonic 2. This game existing in between Sonic 1 and 2 just couldn't be possible. So if not in between Sonic 1 and 2, when the heck is Sonic CD supposed to take place? Is it possible that Sonic CD takes place before Sonic 1? I mean, this game has Eggman using seeds rather than his usual method of animals to power his robots. Maybe this was his original method, which later became obsolete once he figured out how efficient animals were instead. But no, I think it's extremely unlikely it's
I think it's the only game
After all,
with
Eggman
that.
has Metal Sonic ready to go, which is a robot based off of the likeness of Sonic. Eggman would have to know about Sonic beforehand, which we know for a fact that Eggman and Sonic meet in Sonic 1. It'd be impossible to design a robot based off the likeness of someone you don't even know. And the whole seed thing, it could probably be explained by Eggman just experimenting with new
Damn, I feel like I'm winning, but I'm losing. Like bad. Like bad. What the hell? Alright,
new technology. Our next option is that CD takes place in between Sonic 2 and 3, which again, I think is extremely unlikely. At the end of Sonic 2, Sonic defeats Eggman and causes the Death Egg to plummet from the sky. This leads to the colossal air fortress crash landing on Angel Island, weighing it down from its usual spot floating in the sky into the ocean. This segues directly into Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is assumed to take place almost immediately after 2. But I do believe there has to be a small grace period of a few days or maybe weeks in between, since Eggman managed to build entire facilities like Launch Base Zone, which I imagine probably took at least a little bit of time to do. I really don't think it's likely that Eggman decided to take a small break to visit Little Planet for the events of Sonic CD during this time. He was a pretty busy guy during this period. That means the only place I can reasonably see Sonic CD's alternate placement on the timeline being is after Sonic 3 and Knuckles and before Sonic Mania. Specifically, the order would be Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, CD, Knuckles Chaotix, and then Mania. And then I guess 4, but who cares about that game? And then Superstars. Or wait, is Superstars before 4? We're getting off track. The point is, CD would really only be able to take place after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, if not in between 1 and 2. I mean, think about it. It would explain why Metal Sonic is so advanced. Eggman would have learned from his mistakes and flaws of his other robots with Sonic 2's Mecha Sonic Mark 1 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles' Mecha Sonic Mark 2. He would have used this information to build out the ultimate robot doppelganger, Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic would then be reused in Knuckles Chaotix and transform into Metal Sonic Kai. This idea would then be expanded on in Sonic Mania with Giga Metal. It's all a logical progression with robot iterations. This placement also explains why Amy is never referenced until after Sonic 3 and Knuckles. She isn't referenced at all in Sonic 2 or 3 and Knuckles, but she is referenced in both Knuckles Chaotix and Sonic Mania, which take place after. In Chaotix, Amy appears
What is Knuckles Chaotix?
In Mania, she's referenced with this Amy doll.
What is this? No way. You can play as Espio? Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this. It's like you're like ring tied to each other. I don't know why I want to play as Espio. I don't even like know that much about him. I just think he's like a cool character. This guy.
That makes an appearance during a boss fight. If we wedge Sonic CD right after Sonic 3 and Knuckles and before Chaotix and Mania, these references make total sense. Amy becomes relevant in Sonic CD with her debut, and continues to be relevant immediately after in Chaotix and Mania. It's much more consistent, right? This placement even explains the spin dash. If Tails taught Sonic how to spin dash, then yeah, him being able to perform it in CD makes sense now if it's placed after the events of Sonic 2. Placing Sonic CD after Sonic 3 and Knuckles and before Chaotix and Mania does make a lot of sense if you think about it. And there's a lot of people that insist that this is the correct order of events despite what official lore says. Now, while there's definitely a lot of merit to this theory, there are counterpoints I think we need to address. Unfortunately, this isn't a completely airtight theory. First, where the heck is Tails? If CD takes place after Sonic meets Tails, how come he isn't there helping Sonic on his adventures like usual? I feel like it's really unlikely Tails wouldn't be tagging along Sonic on an adventure or even a fun little outing. He's in pretty much every game after his initial appearance, right by Sonic's side, so why not here? And the little teaser of Tails at the end of the game, what does this mean if CD takes place after 3 and Knuckles? What would be this next game that it's referencing? Because the next game chronologically would be Knuckles Chaotix, and Tails isn't really in that game, at least as a playable character. What, are they talking about Sonic Mania, which came out like 20 years after? This teaser doesn't make a whole lot of sense if we assume CD takes place after Sonic 3 and Knuckles without some crazy mental gymnastics. Also, the US instruction manual for Sonic 2 stating that Sonic learned the spin dash from Tails is dubious at best. I mean, this was during an era where Sega of America did whatever they wanted with Sonic lore, and this tidbit isn't mentioned anywhere in the Japanese manual. Tails' adventure is also barely even canon, so using this all as evidence that Tails taught Sonic how to spin dash is a bit of a stretch. Plus, using the spin dash to justify the placement in the timeline is a bit iffy. For the most part, gameplay mechanics are there simply to serve the game. Sometimes games have extra moves simply because there are more buttons on the controller for whatever console it was on. And conversely, sometimes movesets are more limited because of the lack of buttons. It could also be as simple as the devs just wanted Sonic to be able to do it because it's fun. Maybe they just wanted to be innovative and test something new. In my opinion, using gameplay mechanics to justify lore becomes a bit too meta. After all, Sonic can spin dash in every game in Sonic Origins, even Sonic 1. Christ, you can even play as Tails, Knuckles, and Amy in Sonic 1, which we all know is impossible. It's just one of those video gamey type of things. But all in all, I still think Sonic CD taking place after Sonic 3 and Knuckles could totally be possible and make a lot of sense. Even with these counterpoints, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, and arguably, it might make more sense than its canonical placement. But at the end of the day, Sonic Team says that CD takes place in between Sonic 1 and 2. I'm gonna be real though, the creator of something simply saying so doesn't necessarily mean they know what they're talking about. I think in this case, CD being in between Sonic 1 and 2 does make sense, minus some weird inconsistencies. But in general, sometimes there are things that creators establish that are just misinformed, especially when they go about treating their continuity carelessly, which to be fair, happens all the time in the Sonic series. I'd say death of the author could totally be applied here, which is when the author's intentions basically get overridden by the reader's own interpretation. And sometimes this happens when the author isn't logical with their reasoning for certain things being the way they are. But who's to say? I just think Metal Sonic is cool.
Every time I think Nintendo's nearly done with their bullshit, I get proven wrong aggressively. I am so tired of this. As a lifelong Nintendo fan, I cannot believe the straight up disdain they have for their community at times, specifically the emulator community. Realistically speaking, the Switch has not been the best way to play Switch games for a while, and it seems like Nintendo is very upset about that. We heard earlier this year about how they went after the emulator Yuzu, but it seems like some of the worst other emulators, as well as the general emulator community, were safe. That is no longer the case. Buy a subscription so you can play some games. Not only is Nintendo going after YouTube channels that showcase emulators, not even giving you instructions on how to pirate the games, just showing you what they look like on the console. Like the virtual console on the consoles are better. They went after the safe emulator. Ryu Jinx has now been taken down as well. I want to cover all of this because it's absurd, and I hate seeing my fellow YouTube friends, as well as my fellow open source devs, getting attacked by Nintendo's bullshit. It's infuriating. So yeah, let's dive in. First, I want to talk about Retro Game Corps. I love this channel. The fact that we have a channel like this is just pure luck, honestly. I don't know how to put it into words, but like Retro Game Corps is a niche channel that covers all of the handheld emulator consoles. He's the go-to.
Oh shit. Jeez.
Channel and blog covering Retroid, covering Ambernic, covering Neo, covering the crazy stuff going on with Analog. If you're deep in the world of emulators, you've probably watched multiple of his channels, and you might have even followed some of his guides. The amount that this emulator community is riding on him is genuinely difficult to put into words. And seeing him become one of the most relevant YouTubers in the whole gaming space after reading his blog for years has been so heartwarming. And I just want to take the time to shout out Russ because this channel is awesome. And if you're nerdy about these same things, you should be watching this channel. It's especially important to support him now because he just got 2 strikes from Nintendo. For those who don't understand the way that YouTube's copyright system works, when a copyright holder tries to flag a video, they have 2
They're attacking
options.
the retro
Either they can hit the
handhelds.
"we'll negotiate" and give them 1 week button, or they can hit the nuclear button, which is take the video down and put a mark on their channel. And if your channel gets 3 marks, it's gone forever. So you can lose your whole career if you get 3 strikes. It is a terrifying thing. And because of that, almost nobody does that big nasty strike button. Most people, what they do is just hit the like general copyright dispute button, both because it doesn't kill the channel and because there's a path there where you can get revenue from the ads being served on that. But that's not what they did to Russ. They want his channel gone. They don't want the videos gone. They want his channel gone. So some real quick important context on why it seems like things are going nuclear. MIG Flash just put out a new flash card called the MIG Flash V2. It was called the Switch V2 until Nintendo went after them. What this cartridge does is it lets you take a game dump from a Switch game, put it on an SD card, and then put this in a totally unhacked Switch and be able to play games directly. So yeah, very useful device for backing up your games if you're the type that likes to do that. I know I would have... It's funny to say, but I would have bought a lot more physical games if this existed when the Switch came out, because I would have dumped the physical games, put them on this, and then had this as my like main way of playing stuff, so I didn't have to carry 15 physical games with me all the time. On top of that, it's worth noting that if you play pirated copies of games, Nintendo's aggressively keeping an eye on those and flagging and banning consoles that play a version with a license that is from one of those pirated copies. So if you're not dumping legit cartridges and putting them on here, you might be fucked. So Nintendo's not happy about this, to be very clear. They're going very ham on this. And that's where this current arc started. Retro Game Corp's obviously did a video covering this because it fully falls within the things that he covers. And Nintendo copyright struck the video. And the way that they were able to do that is because he was playing Nintendo games in the video, showcasing it. And they DMCA struck his gameplay of their game, claiming that their games is their copyright. So he isn't able legally to play it in his videos, even though everyone else can. It's just a retaliatory strike. Technically speaking, any game dev could strike any YouTuber showcasing their game in their videos unless they have explicit permission from the game developer. But no one does that. It's just insane. I've never seen anything like this ever. And I can't believe they're doing this way. One more thing I forgot to mention is if your channel gets struck, it's not
Didn't
like
Nintendo
you can just...
used to like strike people on Twitch for like playing Mario Kart, just like they're just like playing Mario Kart and they don't want people to do that or something. I remember hearing something like that.
Go make a new one. You as an individual are banned from YouTube forever. So if you get 3 strikes on a channel, you don't get to do YouTube anymore. Genuinely terrifying stuff. So this happened. You could make the argument that he was showing tools for piracy specifically, and Nintendo was really sensitive about that, which sucks. And if this was just a one-time thing with this one video and them going after the cartridge, I would probably not be covering this. But with Nintendo, it's never just one thing. It's never they hit a threshold and are pushing back. It seems like they're on a bit of a bender because they took down one of his videos a few days later because he was just playing Wind Waker. So now if he plays any Nintendo game, they might DMCA strike him. And he might...
I'm gonna ignore stuff like this. Let's talk about Rayman 2.
A demo for a very early build of Rayman 2 was just leaked online, showing a whole host of changed features, missing features and differences that, quite frankly, I'm glad they changed. So let's get right into it.
So weird to be like a Rayman fan.
This 1998
like,
beta
you don't
version
have
was
that
shipped
much
via
stuff
disc in
to...
very limited numbers as a prize for winning a contest from a gaming magazine. This version was supposed to be played on PC, which I suppose for a beta makes a lot of sense.
I remember
especially back
seeing
then.
Rayman
Now,
on
there are
PC
already
for the first
numerous
time.
ports of this infernal game on nearly
It's
every
like the
system you
first
can
time I
name,
saw
and
it.
in a lot of ways people consider the PS1 version to be a sort of finished beta build, if that makes sense. And that version actually contained another beta build for a completely different game called Rayman 2 that would eventually be scrapped in favour of this. It's complicated, I know. We'll get into it one day. Anyway, this beta demo packs in 2 levels to play through. Part of Tomb of the Ancients, one of the later levels in the game, and part of the Walk of Life, one of the earlier levels, which is actually more of a bonus level, but maybe back then they never intended it to be. Who knows? Getting the game to run is quite tricky and involves running an old version of Windows, so if you do want to do this yourself, please check out this video by Robin, which I will have linked down below in the comments, who kindly shared the game files and description of how to install the game, as well as the first footage of the game running, of course. I'm not 100% sure how they came about this copy, but they did, and they are doing God's work, and it's incredibly cool. The Rayman community is truly something special, creating some amazing fan games, remakes, and of course digging up leaked or lost demos, betas, and other files. So after this video, please do go and show Robin some love and check out their video. But until then, let's get into what I can notice with this version. Firstly, let's look at how the game looks. The HUD is probably the first big thing I noticed here. As with most games, the HUD got updated for the final game, which, you know, is completely normal. And I think it's for the best. This is very cool to see, and it's a little bit different, but the way that life is displayed here is far less obvious in my opinion. The life bar in the final version of Rayman 2 just makes a lot more sense, especially coupled with the way it's either lost or collected not evenly every time, if that makes sense. The dots around the centre just kind of... I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so used to the regular version of Rayman 2, but I just prefer that. Well, they changed it for a reason, so I guess they also agreed that the current one is better. Anyway, Rayman's got a little grimace face on the whole time, which is pretty funny, and interestingly, Lee the Fairy, Baby Glowbox, and Murphy all have their final designs here. There are visual bugs, of course, such as missing textures, broken textures, animations that don't work fully, but for the most part, it looks like Rayman 2 would go on to look, which is cool, especially being a year out of release. Gameplay here is a little bit different. It's interesting to see what can change in just 1 year. Rayman's attacks are a bit different. You can charge up your energy attack, but in this instance, I don't think it actually changes anything. At the very least, you can't see it charge up, and the energy ball thing looks the same. It had no impact when I hit the gears anyway, whereas normally if you charge it up, it unwinds the gears more than the normal impact, I think. You also can't attack while running, which is really annoying. It sort of stops you in your tracks very briefly. Strafing is present though, and you can move while strafing and attacking, so I suppose really cool to see. But to be fair, when trying to use this mechanic, especially just after using the regular attacks, it's pretty obvious why it was cut. It's completely obsolete. I don't know why you'd ever use this instead of the energy balls. I suppose maybe it was planned for swinging with the purple lums, but if you're changing your attacks just to do that, that's a bit of a faff and not very fun. I think they made the right call. It just quite cool being able to throw your fists in Rayman 2. I can't believe you can actually do this now. It's ridiculous. Additionally, when Rayman runs, or should I say stops running, he kind of slides to a halt slightly. This is kind of like he's running.
I have many worms in the brain box, but one in particular has been very loud lately. The worm speaks of sequelitis, a very, very old series of YouTube videos about game design. A series that ended in a metaphorical bomb going off. The worm looks like Brendan Fraser. I want to examine the crater, but before I do that, I gotta show you what things were like before the explosion. We're going way the fuck back, over a decade ago, when the media analysis sphere ball of YouTube was still in its infancy. Cinemassacre, Normal Boots, Channel Awesome, these old-ass channels were primarily focused on the act of talking about media as a form of entertainment, rather than as deep critique. More in-depth analysis wasn't unheard of, but it definitely wasn't as common. You know, the term video essay had yet to curse the modern lexicon. So Aaron Hansen rolls up. By the way, I know a lot of people have strong opinions on the man, but it doesn't matter for this, so I don't care. Pause if you care. So Igor Raptor rolls up, makes a video game show. He does things the different
Castlevania 1 was so fucking cool. It was fresh and exciting, and it felt great. Whipping dudes, yeah, I'll get out of here! The best part, though, was that it clearly had a lot of thought put into it. For better or for worse. See, the thing you gotta realize about games in the NES days is that last stability was even then a big issue. Games were anywhere from 30 to 60 bucks, and that shit's steep. You couldn't pay for that shit with your fucking lunch money. The NES cartridge didn't have a lot of space, so developers had to mind their limits, but also try to make a game that lasts a long time, so people felt like they got their fortunes worth.
He kicks the door down. His first outing, he's talking about the kinds of challenges developers were faced with.
This is too weird, dude. This is so weird.
The shit he's talking about is exceptional. People did this wasn't normal back then. Dude's like, I want to be funny Cartoon Man and do genuine analysis. Still huge. Look how many number they got. This is one of the first cartoon guy on lower third of screen rants at you about media YouTube videos ever. Citation needed. They're also really old.
Hey there, got a pretty exciting new mod that just released the other day. This is the extended Chow Guard released by Timco. Shout out Timco.
How does Sega feel about... I mean, yeah, they're very against piracy for sure, I'm pretty sure, but like, how about like modding their games? I don't know if they allow it. Like, there's just a new, what's it called? The sound isn't coming through. Uh-oh. Whoa! I don't think I've seen that. Luma Kirby? Or Rosalina Kirby? This is mean. That was lucky. It is kind of weird how, like, in all the box art of Kirby for USA, like, he always looks pissed, but, like, you don't see that in the games. Like, he's not pissed right now. him. I gotta pee. I'm so bad with Rosalina. Why does my stomach hurt? Like I ate food.
They were actually in my stream the other day kind of explaining how this works and going over some things. So at first, you know, when you first enter the garden, it doesn't really look that much different, other than there's an extra pillar over there, but you walk around a little bit, look at this. We've got like extra areas in the Chao Garden, you know, hence extended Chao Garden. There's also a dark garden version too, so we'll be showing that off here in a little bit. But this garden is kind of amazing. So shout out Tim Cove. There hasn't really been like many Chao Garden modders that have tried extending the gardens or really expanding past like the base design. This is one of the first I've ever seen. So very cool. There's this little cave area down here. Got the rocking horse just chilling down here for some reason. We'll bring that up to the rest of the chat. But a whole little cave area down here. And let's go back over here. There's also a picnic table as well. Come up here. Let's just drop that down for these guys. And then over this way, there is a cave, another kind of cave that pops out over here. This design is awesome. Tim Co did a really good job. I think it's really cool how they expanded these areas. They look very natural. If Sega or Sonic Team is ever going to come back and release a patch to expand the gardens, I imagine it would probably look pretty similar to this. So very cool stuff. There definitely are a few kind of quirks with it that you got to keep in mind. First things first, let me show you this. The Chao waypoints, they're not really set up that well in this garden. That's not really on Tim Co at all. That's just something that really hasn't been touched at all by Chao Garden modders. Maybe like ever so slightly by a few of them, but it's kind of unknown territory for a lot of modders. So all these little dots here, you see these green ones, some blue, red. These basically all tell the Chao where to walk and where they can go in the garden. So you can see actually most of the expanded areas don't actually have any. So Chao will never walk over there. As you can see, we kind of have all the Chao still in this initial starting area. No one's really moved too far into the new areas because they're just not programmed to do so. But eventually, I hope that will be added to this month. They will be able to walk over to those areas. Enhanced Chao World currently has a new update that's in the works that will make it a lot easier for Chao Garden modders to actually like mod the gardens themselves. So I'm really excited for that. I think that'll be a really big deal once that comes out. But here, let's try bringing a Chao into the cave. Let me turn off these waypoints. Here we go. And here, let's take Sapphire. We got Sapphire right here. And let's just see what happens. So if you guys saw this on my stream the other day, I'm actually on a newer update, so things have been a little bit more fixed. But before, if you bring a Chao down here, they'd think they're in the pool and actually try swimming to the regular pool and they'd start swimming through the ceiling. It was actually pretty interesting. But now it's a little bit more functional, as the Chow will not do that. Instead, I think we'll just kind of walk around like normal. Or I'm not actually totally sure what'll happen. Let's see what Sapphire does here. Interesting. So far, a lot less glitchy than I thought it would be. Again, last time I used this before the most recent update, our Chow swam through the ceiling. But Sapphire seems to be actually functioning somewhat normal. It looks like they're trying to get to a waypoint that's probably like directly above them right here, so maybe not. They're kind of running around other areas, so we'll just kind of leave Sapphire here. We'll see if they manage to make their way back to the rest of the Chow. But let's grab another one. Let's grab Choa here. And let's try going over to this area and see what happens. Yeah, this other area. And when we tried this on stream, they tried to swim back to the garden, or fly back, I guess, over this railing. And see, it looks like Choa is still trying to do the same. And maybe they'll just get stuck here. Oh no, they're flying. Oh, there is an invisible wall though. So they are just kind of stuck. But as you can see, the waypoints aren't fully functional at this point. But the main section of the garden is very usable and pretty much the same as the normal garden. But you got some extra extended areas to bring your Chow to, which is pretty cool. So Sapphire hasn't really moved
Definitely
much.
Never had
Mostly
that many.
just running around in circles down here. But it's cool that Timco is able to fix this though. So they are addressing the collision issues and making it so the garden's more functional for the Chow, even if they aren't able to actually like walk everywhere. So very cool that they fixed that. Earlier I also mentioned there was an extended dark garden, so let's take a quick look at that. This one's the newer of the two, so I believe this one's probably got more collision issues and just isn't nearly as polished yet as the other one. But this one is very cool and I think even more expansive than the other one. But first off, you can see there's a kind of an area to go down here. And I might have to use the debug camera for this. Earlier when I was trying to get through here, my camera glitched out pretty bad. But there's a whole like kind of walkway down here. And we'll see, okay, yeah, so I think actually it just makes my character teleport. You can see Sonic's actually like up top now. So I don't know why that happens. So here, let's go free cam so that we can more properly explore this. But so again, this, we have the normal garden over here, the normal area. Come down this way. And then down here is like a whole cave. The cave's actually kind of scary. It's kind of a very grim cave. It's literally just blood. It's actually really cool that they add like a whole separate pool for the Chow to swim in. The extended neutral garden doesn't have that, so that's cool. And then it reaches up, there's a little hole through here, but before we go through that, let's go back out this way. So we're up top now again, the normal area. And if you go into here, into the little cave, again, this isn't normally only in the Dreamcast version, this little like mountain or cave or whatever. You go through here, and then the cave's even extended too. We got more gravestones. There's some like pillars in the cave, which is kind of cool. Fence, and then over here is the hole that drops into that blood cave. So, like a very much extended cave here. Very cool. Some more like props in it and decorations. Very nice. And then also up top over here, and I don't think I need the free cam for this. Let's go back to normal Sonic. Unless my camera's stuck. You know, it's working. But here, and then we're gonna jump up here. And we got this area too. I don't know if it's supposed to be like an open grave or if this is eventually gonna be like a little pool to swim in or something, but there's like a little hole here along with some more graves, another tree. And overall, this is just a much cooler version of the Dark Garden, as again, we got some new areas to explore and go into, which is very cool. So shout out to Timco for creating this. They did an amazing job, and I'm very excited to see the future of this mod and their other mods too. I'm hoping they eventually design a custom hero garden that's extended, but we'll see if that eventually comes along. Hopefully it does, fingers crossed. And if you want to download these and try them out yourself, I do have download links available in the description, so check there. And I got one more exciting thing related to Chow Garden modding that I want to show off first before we end off this video. The day and night cycle in Chow World Extended has undergone a major update thanks to Exand. Previously, whenever it would switch between day and night, there'd be a full-on fade to black, and then the sky would suddenly be changed. You know, suddenly it's daytime, full-on screen fades to black, and now it's night. But with this new update, it's a much...
God. Ganondorf would be full play. I feel like I just got tired. Let me take off my contacts. think maybe I go to sleep. Damn. That move's crazy, damn. I probably hit him on the tip. Or her. Let me see if I could fall asleep.
more seamless transition between day and night. Also, Exant is saying that this should apparently work with custom gardens, which is really cool because previously the day and night cycle only worked with the vanilla, hero, normal, and dark gardens, no custom gardens. So I'm not 100% sure if this is related to the enhanced Chow World API thing that was in the video a little bit earlier. I think it's probably completely separate. But between this and the updates to enhance Chow World to make garden editing easier, I am very excited for the future of custom garden editing. I know I've said this in a few videos lately that we're kind of undergoing a potential renaissance for Chow, and it's happening. You know, I keep saying I think Sonic potentially will end up releasing a new Chow Garden or one in the game just based off the hints from the movie and the new Sonic game. But even if none of that happens, the Chow Garden modding community is flourishing right now. We got a whole bunch of new custom garden skins. We got developments to custom garden editing as a whole. Day and night cycle, we got the extended gardens, so like models within gardens are actually being edited more now. It's not just the Zen garden or the Wind Waker garden, it's other gardens doing it too. And it's very exciting. You know, as someone who's really into Chow and kind of plays Chow a lot, this is really cool stuff, and I'm very excited to see the future of Chow Garden modding. That's everything I've got for today. Thanks for checking out this video. Thank you to everyone who clicked the like button, and thank you to all the channel members for supporting the channel. Without you guys, I would not be able to create content regularly and stream often, so thank you so much for allowing me to do all this. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care.
Ads are annoying and distracting. Luckily, Pi.org had an easy solution. Pi.org is an ad blocker that sweeps away all those random pop-ups, and it actually allows you to watch all
Star Fox Adventures is an unusual and surprisingly divisive game. Released in 2002 for the GameCube, this title from Nintendo and Rare wasn't the Star Fox game many gamers expected from their next-gen lunchbox. Instead of soaring through outer space in an R-Wing and blowing up anything that moves, players spent most of their time exploring the amazing environments of Dinosaur Planet, solving puzzles, beating on enemies with a magic staff, collecting mushrooms, playing fetch with a baby Triceratops, giving candy to stone giants, and much more. For some gamers, this proved to be an enjoyable and surprising adventure, while others just wanted to jump into the R-Wing and fly through traditional Star Fox space missions. Many gamers also just couldn't get past the idea that this was simply a Zelda ripoff or clone, a sentiment I don't really agree with. If you're willing to approach this game with an open mind, I think you'll discover one of the better games on the system with a unique identity of its own. So in this video, let's examine why Star Fox Adventures is not really a Zelda clone, even if it might appear so at first glance. As a quick side note, please remember to hit subscribe to support the growing channel for more retro and modern gaming analysis content. Now, I decided to make this video after my most successful video, GameCube Games Still Look Insane, seemed to generate a surprising volume of comments and support for Star Fox Adventures, which is featured in that video. I ended up replaying the entire game as part of that process after I became hooked again, and with Zelda Echoes of Wisdom releasing this week, I couldn't help but keep re-evaluating this age-old Zelda
Alright, so I think I'm taking a break from 3D platformers. And that's how you know I'm tired. When I'm like dropping stuff. When you start like missing your face or something, you're like dropping stuff. So you know I'm like pretty tired. But anyways, new Epic games just dropped, like new free Epic games. And I'm down to like try them out, I think. Let me see exactly what they are. One of them is Snakebird Complete. I might have that one. Let me see. And the other one is, this is the one that seemed like a big deal. Castlevania Anniversary Clip. And I'm not saying words right. I think that also means I'm tired. Castlevania Anniversary Collection. Whatever that is. I'll see what that is. Let me show desktop. To the demonstrated
comparison.
Alright, Snakebird Complete I have. I don't even know. What is this? What is Snakebird? Some type of puzzle game. This is kind of like, who cares? Snakebird. But this one seems really cool. Castlevania Anniversary Collection. Like, what is that? What does that contain? What's in that? What is in that? Like, I've been trying to get into Castlevania and I can't do it. I just can't. It's like one of those really hard games that you die like a million times. I mean, I've been dying when I'm playing it. Alright, Castlevania Anniversary Collection traces the origins of the historic vampire franchise. Included is a unique ebook with details provided by developers, artists. I don't care about what's in it. Okay. Holy. This is just free. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania The Adventure, I've never even heard of that one, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, holy, all of these games. All of these. That's huge. It's like a nice way to put them on PC, I guess. Let me watch this. I mean, they all look like crap, but Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula. That's it. That's sick. Oh. Probably don't want to show that. 10 amazing indie games inspired by The Legend of Zelda. Maybe I should just go to bed. I don't know if that's gonna be that fun. These games are just like extremely hard. Witcher. I'm like pretty tired. I'll probably go to bed. movement just like a little too far. Oh god. Oh. Damn. You should too. You should go random. Is that you on Play Games? I don't know how to do the jab and... I didn't know Luma's like blocking. Luma probably can spike, I don't know. That all did 26 damage. I'm like trying to be fancy, but I'm also like not very good with it. So. Let me try something. Alright, yeah. 26 hours. Uh, the fuck? Am I still alive? I don't know. I think I'm out. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm